Yo, anybody in there? You ready for another movie review? Yo guys, this is B Junior from Endurance Productions Movie Reviews on the B Junior's Movie Realm channel, I guess you call it nowadays. Just want to kind of get back to form here a little bit, do a little movie reviewage for you. I'm going to talk about a film today that is not a full-on gore-fest horror movie. It's what I would describe as a part horror, part thriller, part murder mystery, and even a small inkling of a musical, all wrapped into one. The movie is none other than The Wicker Man, the 1973 classic, that has grown to be a classic over the years. I'm going to review not only the DVD presentation that I picked up recently, but I'm also going to go over the differences between the long version or extended director's cut version of the VHS that I acquired recently as well from Media Home Entertainment back in the day. First, let me back up and tell you my history with this movie. It wasn't an instant love affair, I'll say it that way. This movie grew on me over time. I saw this movie back around post-high school era, mid-90s, when I was in the military. I rented it one day when I was going through the old horror shelves at the local video store. Picked it up, I rented it, and at first viewing, I didn't think much of the film. I can't remember which version I saw back in the day. I imagine it was the American theatrical version. I didn't like it. I mean, I'm not going to say I didn't like it, but it just wasn't something that I would want to run out and buy right away. Years later, I came back to it, probably about late 90s, early 2000s. Rented it, watched it again. Thought, well, this movie's a little cerebral. It's a little more interesting. It's a little more odd than I expected. You know, it's a little bit better the second time around. Well, cut to about a year ago to now, you know, around this time frame, I picked it up, again and watched it with some friends. That didn't go over so well. I found this movie's best viewed by yourself, and I don't know why. I can't put my finger or my thumb on that reason or my gut feeling for that, but I'll just say that it's best viewed when you're alone. And it was best viewed for me on a rainy day when there's nothing else to do outside and I could stay totally focused on the movie to kind of soak it up and get where the movie was coming from. Basically, recently I picked up the Wicker Man on my little VHS quest I've been on here lately. I picked up a copy on VHS from Media Home Entertainment, and it's got the bottom flap I've been telling people about. I watched this version recently, and this is probably my fourth time viewing this film over the years. And I gotta say, as I was viewing this VHS tape, I kept thinking, something's not right here. This movie's kind of out of order, or the editing's wrong, or something. I just don't remember these scenes. Well, after doing a little bit of research and recently acquiring a DVD copy from Lionsgate of the same movie, I found that the VHS version that I was viewing recently was the 102-minute fully extended version, the long version, which is the director's cut, quote-unquote director's cut of the film. I gotta say that there's only about a 12 to 15 minute difference between the American theatrical and the long version, if you'll forgive me, the director's cut. It didn't really take away from the story too much. If you still watch the American theatrical version, you're still going to get the basic gist, the point across. Me personally, out of these two versions, and I'm going to explain in a minute why I feel this way, I personally prefer the long version because it fleshes out the main characters a little more, gives them a few more scenes. It makes the movie make a little more sense if you take that lightly. Without further delay, let me get into the story of the movie. Let's cover that. The movie centers around a police officer that's from the mainland of Scotland who goes to, of course, an island off the shores of Scotland on the west coast in search of a girl that's went missing. There's an anonymous letter that comes to him from this village that says, "This girl's gone missing. Please help. Come help her find it, or help us find this girl. We fear the worst," or whatnot, you know. Well, he flies out to the island via airplane and basically goes in there to try. It's like a murder mystery. He's trying to find this missing girl. Well, what he finds is all these twists and turns from these odd locals, and that's what I'm going to keep saying throughout this review, is that this movie is just a little odd. It's not your run-of-the-mill horror movie. It is kind of in the horror genre, but it's got a shocking ending and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not going to tell you what the ending is because I don't want to ruin it if you've never seen the movie. You owe it to yourself to see it at least once. But the story centers around Sergeant Howie from the Scotland police, who's trying to find this young girl. What he finds is this village is living by the old rules of the old religion, quote unquote, which is, I don't know if you call it full-on paganism, but it's not satanic, but it's just living by the old rules of Samhain, basically, where they give homage to their gods. If they give sacrifice and homage to their gods, they worship in that manner so that they can get a better harvest in the next year. So that, with other things that they practice there, fertility rites for girls and all these other things they teach them from young on up, just a lot of odd things going on, and there's some musical things that happen in there, and you're kind of like, what was that all about? I don't understand that. Watch it a couple of times. You will get, trust me, you will get this movie a little bit more after a couple of viewings. I did. It worked for me. Basically, I don't want to give too much more away because that's the basic gist of the story. I want you to view this movie and draw your own conclusion. I have viewed the Lionsgate DVD release. This is a single version. It's not a full-on bare bone version. I will go over the special features of it. It's got great picture, great sound. I've not viewed the Blu-ray. I think it was released in '07, but don't quote me. I don't know how that one differs. I will tell you the single disc version isn't a total bomb as far as features. It does have a 35-minute featurette, or behind-the-scenes featurette, with Christopher Lee and a lot of the leads from the movie, including Edward Woodward, who plays Sergeant Howie in the movie. They give their insight on the troubled production behind this movie. It had a lot of production problems, not only for budget reasons, but no distributor in England or America at that time wanted to release it. So it didn't get an American release until 1979, 6 years after it was made in '73. You learn that in the featurette. It has theatrical trailer, TV spot, radio spots, English 5:1 Dolby Digital surround sound, which is killer. It works pretty good. The VHS, of course, full screen. It's from Old School Media Entertainment. It runs 102 minutes versus the 88-minute DVD American release. If you can, try to get your hands on a copy of this on VHS that runs 102 minutes. That's kind of the telltale sign. It's not going to say director's cut or anything across the top in most cases, but if you can get your hands on the longer version, that's the one I recommend for viewing, if you can. If not, the DVD will suffice. There is, never fear for all you fanatics of Wicker Man out there, if you haven't bought it yet, there is a 2-disc version of this out there I scouted on the internet. However, I think that the 2-disc version is out of print now, and it's a little bit harder to find, and it will steal a few more of your bucks. But you can scour the earth and get these Lionsgate release from 2008, 2009, relatively cheap. I don't think they'll run you anywhere from about $4 to $10, somewhere around in there. I got mine for $5, so I couldn't pass it up. Guys, it's a British movie classic. It's just best described as a cult favorite, a horror thriller. It has some very odd moments in the film. You're going to think in your first viewing, you're kind of like, okay, why am I watching this? I don't understand this. And you'll probably be rewinding a bunch. Christopher Lee, got to give props where props are due. Christopher Lee plays a great performance as Lord Summerisle, the leader of the village, so to speak, and really kind of sets the mood, the tone for the movie as it comes to its shocking climax as to the real reason behind the movie and why he's running into, well, I'm not going to go any further with it. I know I'm yanking back on that, but I'm getting a little too far. I want you to view the film, draw your own conclusions, guys, but most importantly, leave me your comments, concerns, video responses as always. Let me know what you guys think, because that's what the reviewage is all about, getting the commentary out there and just sharing in the goodness of the movie world, the movie realm. Okay, guys, that's been my review. I give it a thumbs up, but only after a couple of viewings. So it might not be to everybody's liking, but I think if you give it a couple of viewings, or if you watch it by yourself, watch the long version, get all the everything that they originally wanted you to see in the movie, I think you'll have a good time. It'll be something different. It's kind of a, like I said, a kind of a mixture of sorts of movies. So don't think about it too hard, but make sure you pay attention. That's the best way I can explain it. Take care, guys. We'll see you next time.